You wanted to talk, and I agree this is a good point, about Lars Hedegaard. Tell us about Lars Hedegaard.
Yes, I did, and I hope that I just wanted to bring him to the attention of any of your listeners who haven't heard of him. Lars Hedegaard is a journalist and writer and historian based in Denmark, and he's a friend of mine and a very noble figure. He's 70 now. He was put through a grotesque pseudo trial in Denmark a little while ago because he said something that was deemed to be insulting to Islam. He managed to get the accusations struck down. But anyhow, he is a brave defender of freedom of speech. He is a brave opponent of Islamic fundamentalism. He makes criticisms of Islam that are completely legitimate and within more than within the boundaries of decent discourse, whether that mattered or not. And 2 mornings ago, at his house in Copenhagen, a young man described as a foreigner, possibly Arab-looking, with a beard, mid-20s, knocked on his door, delivered a parcel that appears to have been a bomb, and took out a gun and fired it at Lars's head to kill him. The first bullet missed, and Lars, as I said, 70, managed to punch the man in the face.
Wow.
The man managed to drop the gun, picked it up again, pulled the trigger twice more, and it jammed, at which point he ran away, and he's not yet been found. It was an assassination attempt on a 70-year-old critic of Islam, journalist, and it has got almost no coverage in the press. It has got absolutely zero coverage in the left-wing press. I and a few others in America and in Europe, in conservative publications, have tried to highlight it, but it seems to be the silence, a deafening silence on this attempt to murder a journalist in his home in Denmark, is that the absolute silence on it is for one reason only, which is that people think, oh, well, maybe he was mean. Maybe he said something he shouldn't have said. Maybe he's a conservative. Maybe it's because he's right-wing, and so on and so forth. And I think this is a crucial time to remind ourselves of the fact that there are people there who want to kill people who tell the truth about things. There are people there who look for excuses for those people. And there are a large swamp of people who think, well, this person isn't a left-winger. Maybe they've said something that was too right-wing for my tastes. I don't think I can stand up and defend that person. And so they remain silent.
Yes.
And
Well,
it is
indeed.
absolute scandal.
Do you remember? Well, of course you do. Who was the chap who got assassinated who made Fitna?
No,
Was it Fitna?
Finland was made by Geert Wilders. Theo van
Sorry.
Gogh
That's right. Sorry, Theo van
was
Gogh.
assassinated in Holland in 2004, and Theo was a left-wing provocateur, journalist, author, filmmaker, and so on. And very much the same thing happened then.
Yes.
All of the grand right, many people on the right side as well, but largely, almost completely on the left, said, well, he seems to have been provocative. What the hell do they think that the arts and journalism and ideas are meant to be? Are they meant to simply toe some boring political party line? I think the answer is yes. That's how these people think the culture works. They think you're all meant to keep lockstep in line. And if you step out of line, and if somebody then kills you or comes to your door with a gun and shoots you,
Yeah.
well, you stepped out of line. We're not going to give you cover.
And you know, Douglas, that if you got offed, that would be the response. Apart from people like me, can I just tell you a story that was really?
In the accounts of this, it really reminded me of this. That's what they would say. Well, he shouldn't have been provocative. He shouldn't have said things that made people upset.
I rather think that I might get a similar verdict, which is just like so unfair, as my kids would say. I remember at the time of the Theo van Gogh killing, a friend of mine, in fact, an old girlfriend of mine from my Oxford days. A really nice girl, not a sort of card-carrying lefty, and she had moved to Amsterdam and lived there a few years. Perhaps she'd gone native, and I talked to her about the killing and about how appalling it was, and she said, "No, you don't understand. If you lived in Amsterdam, you'd be familiar with the story. What you don't realize is that he was a real provocateur. He went out of his way to cause trouble." And it was extraordinary hearing somebody that I'd considered reasonable, moderate, nice, somebody I'd slept with to boot, and suddenly was coming out with some a view of the world so poisonous.
This is the thing, and this is it has to be said. All of the liberal media. The liberal media is silent about this, and it colludes and helps this because it provides the backing chorus that says provocative, made people upset, mean. All of this simply means not in line with our own political views, and therefore not to be mourned when they're assassinated. It is absolutely sick. It is a cancerous sickness at the heart of liberal media and at the heart of liberal politics, and everything must be done to change that.